Welcome to Kumbasoft DPAA tutorials. This tutorial is about creating new logging targets with DPAA. So be sure to set your video playback to high definition, and though some visual details may have changed with the DPAA since this video was created, the functionality will be the same. So to start out, I've got a couple of appliances that I'll select here. I don't have to select them all. And I'm going to start with the default domain just to show some things here that are shown in other tutorials, but it's important to see one of the features we describe within this video. If I want to see the logging screen, I go to the Logs tab here, and this logging target list dynamically changes based upon the selection that I have. I'm not limited to selecting one domain. I can select more than one at a time by control or command clicking or shift clicking, and I can select multiple domains. So what we're seeing here is that list is dynamically changing. And you've seen this in other videos if you watch some of the other videos in this series. So what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go back to the Find Objects tab, and I'm going to go to select the multi-protocol gateway type, and I'm just going to simply search for all multi-protocol gateways within the selected domains here. Let's suppose, for example, we want to create a new logging target based upon, say, this service. Notice the same service is in two domains of two different appliances, so this will be a really good example. And let's suppose that right now I don't have a good logging target on this, and I want to create a logging target subscribed to this multi-protocol gateway, or these multi-protocol gateways. In order to do that, I select the objects that I want to create the log targets against, and then I can right mouse click, or I can use the hamburger menu. And one of the menu options here is called Create Logging Target for Selected Objects. So I'm going to select that option, and we're going to get a wizard that pops up that gives us the ability to define the log target name. So I'm going to say New Log Target for Charlie. And I'm doing this in all uppercase so that it's easy to find later. We can select the type of logging target, whether we want it to be text or XML. And we can select the initial logging target level that we want that logging target to subscribe to when it gets created. When I select the next button, I also have now the ability to define where that logging target is going to be and what that logging target file name is going to be. So I may want to put it in log store. If you have your RAID drive, you can type RAID, whatever, and put that directory in there. You can put temporary, however you want to do it. You can also select the file size and the number of rotations. So I can change that to whatever I want it to be. And then I click Finish. And what happens here is DPAA went out and created 4 new logging targets. And you can see that it's done that in 2 different appliances and 2 different domains, creating the exact same kind of logging target for all subscribed to this service. Now if I go to the logging targets list here and I go and search, you're going to see I've got this new logging target in 4 different locations. It's indicated as a new type of object because it is, and you can see that these 2 domains now need to be saved to persist these objects. If I want to pull these object configurations up, I can either use my right mouse button or the hamburger menu, and I can do Open Selected Objects. And what DPAA will do is put these configurations up side by side from the 2 different domains and the 2 different appliances all at once. So then we can go about seeing what happened when they were created. So why is this important? Well, it's important because you see a big red area here, and it indicates to you and there's differences in the object filters between between these logging targets. And if you look very closely, you'll see the biggest difference is really existing between the insurance domain and the state domain. So the titles give you the appliance, the domain, the type of object you're looking at, in this case it's logging target, and the name of the object you're looking at. And when they compare side by side, this shows differences really, really fast for you. What that meant for us really was that these two multi-protocol gateways to which I subscribed these logging targets were not configured identically, and in fact they may not be. And that change is a little bit, that change could be good or bad, or that difference could be good or bad, but it's somewhat maybe what we might expect. That named service may not be identically configured in two different domains. You'll also see that it created a comment field that says the logging target was generated by DPAA on a particular date and time. And that kind of gives you a hint that, hey, this is a logging target that was created by DPAA, just in case someone else comes along and pulls that object up within an appliance and then all of a sudden sees, where does this logging target come from? They can quickly see where that came from. And then you can also edit these values within this screen, which is the topic of a different video. So that's one way of creating a new logging target. Another way to create a new logging target is to say select an existing logging target, and I'm going to do this one. And I'm going to select it in the two different appliances, and it doesn't matter whether I do 1 or 2 domains or 10. What I'm going to do is I'm going to right mouse click, or again, I could use the hamburger menu, and I've got a feature here called Save As. So when I save as, I'm creating a new logging target, and this works with any kind of object, by the way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this logging target and save it under a new name. So we'll just call it, say, new, and I'll do it again in all caps so we can see. I'll call it new delta log. Now, before I do anything else here, I want you to see there's a synchronized changes button here. And when I hit the enter button, you'll notice that this other one was named the exact same thing. Why? Because typically speaking, if we're going to do it on one of these appliances and domains or whatever we're doing for the same named object, we'll probably want it to have the exact same new name everywhere else we're doing the save as. This helps you keep your appliances configured identically throughout your farm, and it makes things simpler. So if we were doing, say, 10, you wouldn't need to enter that same name 10 different times. You can just enter it once. When I select Finish, DPAA goes out and it creates a new logging target under this new name, and it saves our config for us. So now we can see we've got the new logging target here, and we've got the new delta log here. So we've got, in both cases, we've got the new delta log that we had before in the insurance domain, and it's also had the save configuration so that they're already saved. Now at this point, these 4 logging targets are identical. And that's the difference between creating a new logging target by selecting objects like multi-protocol gateways or whatever you may have, subscribed to the objects that you start with, and doing a save as. Right now, these are identical logs. So you may want to come back and, change this logging target to match some difference that you needed for a difference between this log and the logging target that you're creating. Of course, you can make it do anything you want. So if I want to change the file name here and I want to make some kind of modification to it, I can go in here and I can say, okay, let's make this match some, logging, I can say new, whatever I want it to be, new delta log, and then if I hit the enter key, again, because synchronized changes is here, again, if I did this on 10, now I've got a new log. I can do extra subscribing. For example, this is XML. I can change this to text, and any number of kinds of things that I want to be able to do. Once I save those changes back, I now have 2 differently configured logging targets, but of the same name. So in other words, they had different names, of the same, that were the configuration. I saved it as this new name, and now these 4 logging targets are actually configured quite differently. I could have made a lot more changes, but we're going to demo what those differences are so you can understand that these logging targets are in fact now different. The original logging targets were XML type. They had this file name. The new ones are text type. They have this file name. So you can see where those differences are real quickly at a glance. And even within those old logging targets, they had a slightly different directory where those logs were being stored. So that's the cool thing about this screen, where you can quickly see what those differences are. Now, we had gone to this log screen before, and we had shown some differences. And as you see, I've created some new logs in here, and we've been playing around as you've witnessed. But if I go to the logs, back to the log screen, you notice those new logging targets aren't showing up here right now. And that's because this does some basic polling as you change selections, but it doesn't do full polling. So in order for me to get those logs to display, I can manually force the refresh of this list, and now we can see this new logging target showing up here. That's all we have for this video. If you want to see the other videos related to log viewing features and logging targets, you can go out to www.kumbasoft.com and you can view all the tutorial videos you have there. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.